Citizens of Fourside, it is February 8th, Genesis is coming, top players are fighting about controllers, and personally, I don't care much about that fight. That's why we haven't had an episode in over a month. And yet, dozens of you are still donating to our Patreon. Don't take this as an opportunity to cancel. We aren't doing nothing. We've been working hard behind the scenes, and we're ready to start a discussion that will involve everyday smashers just like you. Tomorrow, we're recording a special municipal episode of Fourside Fights, bringing together experts on tournament organizing, video production, and more to sketch out our vision for the future of Fourside, the Fourside Fights Regional. If you're tired of tournaments and discourse that revolve around social media and streamers, this is the event for you. If you want to come join the chat, we will, for the first time, allow our pundits to look at and read your messages as we record live on Twitch. Got a cool idea for how to run a bracket? Feedback on our ideas? Do you just want to scream into the void? Come through. And remember, if you don't show up, we'll just do everything Jess Danger tells us to do.
Welcome to Fourside Fights, featuring... who the hell is on this one? Gumball! The Cheat! Ipengu! And Jorge!
He's mid-game still!
Yeah, Zane has
TikTok wins. Boris knows.
Game. I don't know what to do about that. I guess we'll figure it out. Citizens of Fourside, I'm Jack Zilla, and I know, number one, we need a Tafo versus Tian rematch at Genesis. Number two, Rishi is right. We need to ban all jumps except for up jump. Number three, all ice agents are banned from the Fourside Fights Regional. And number four, I will be giving free registration to documentarian Errol Morris. Let's go to each side. Who are you banning or giving free registration to at the Fourside Fights Regional? You can only pick one. Let's start with our first guest, who is legendary for his commitment to populist melee. It's Johnny Gumball.
Ooh, this is an interesting one. Let's see. Free registration for the Fourside Regional is going to go to my man Medic. Local Pittsburgh Luigi 1 tour. Recently broke his arm, and he still entered our amateur bracket and still won 3 sets, baby. So it would be free registration for Medic.
All right. And then, let's see. Our second expert is another tournament organizer for the Fourside Regional. It's the Cheat.
Yeah, I think Mr. Beast is popping up in too many places lately, and you might think that there would be a financial incentive for us to have him there, but I'm actually going to ban him, and hopefully by proxy Jeff Probst will follow suit, and he'll never show up on Survivor again. I'm going to give free registration to... Yeah, I haven't talked about the Suns yet on this show in a while. Shout out Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks, come through the Fourside Fights Regional. He's balling out lately.
And then he is, I would say, our greatest film nerd among our Melee players, an accomplished event planner with TFT events and Melee events galore under his belt. It's Ipengu.
Hello, I will be giving free registration to anyone who can prove they've never touched a GameCube controller before. No, I want to adjust that. Who has proved they have never touched Super Smash Bros. Melee before. Box players, you are not allowed free registration. Needed to throw that asterisk in there. And then who will I be banning? Anyone who has only touched a box controller before and not a GameCube.
That could be. That could be something that we discussed on the line. Finally, he is a dreamer of the highest order, looking to bring grassroots events together in a web of mutual support. And he gets crazy on the mic. It's Jorge.
Thank you, Jack. I think I would probably start with a temp ban for Aung San Suu Kyi, Burmese politician. You familiar?
Sure.
Yeah, I think that she has a lot of good stuff, but definitely needs to be put on watch. So I think a temp ban is an appropriate treatment for her. And I guess free registration would have to then be, I guess, Nelson Mandela honorarily, right?
Yeah. I think much like John Lennon, a lot of celebrities who we think are dead, they kind of stopped being dead. They decided to get back up and just kind of have a more quiet life.
Which does speak to the nature of like... Oh, Jason Sudeikis, yeah. I changed my answer to Jason Sudeikis, not Nelson Mandela.
Okay. Both soccer legends. Welcome to Fourside Fights. We've got 4 outstanding guests today who are going to act as advisors as we discuss tournament organizing on this very special municipal episode. They'll give their ideas. If we agree that they're useful or interesting, I'll give them points. If they derail the discussion or all the other pundits boo, I'll move the conversation along, I guess. And of course, I can mute any contestant at any time if their background noise gets too loud. At the end, the chat will decide who will fight in a doubles match so we can see exactly how our tournament organizing translates to Melee. Chat will decide who the 2v2 will be and who the teams will be, mostly based on me looking at it and seeing what is spammed. Let's get started with our first topic. What is the premise of the Fourside Fights Regional? What are we doing here in the first place? What's the mission? Mikey, I'm going to have you set the stage on this. What is the mission of the Fourside Fights Regional? Is this not just another jerk-off expression of the ego of a bunch of TOs who won't let go?
It definitely is that. And there are a lot of ideas that have kind of been thrown around here, and we can kind of shoot them down or give them the thumbs up as we see fit. But I think there's a few points. One is that we want a tournament that is free from corporate grasp, free from Nintendo grasp, that's self-sufficient, that's funded, if not by the people attending the tournament, then by the people with disposable income in the community, either through, merchandise, donations, maybe sort of like grassroots advertisement if we can, where people just pay to throw their, Ultimate Frisbee team or whatever on stream, something like that. But no corporate sponsorships, I think, is the idea. One of the ways that we envision in which we might be able to do that is by having people vote for certain things that go on in the tournament, whether that's a part of the broadcast, the rule sets, the formats. We want to democratize the event. We want to let people decide what it looks like and engage them in that way. And then I think from a logistics standpoint, we want it to be kind of the opposite of Smash Camp. At least personally, that's what I would like to see. Something that is easy for people to travel to, ideally both by car and by plane. Something that is accessible and like in a city that has a good environment, probably good food nearby, housing accessible, that sort of thing. And then the Fourside element. I think obviously we want to probably do the show there. My idea, not I guess to get ahead of us, is that everyone at the tournament has a score associated with them. That, goes up or down, not just based on, the gameplay, but kind of like the swag bracket for Summit, or if they say something funny on commentary. Something that is a prize for like being the best tournament attendee, basically. And at the end of it, that would come with its own cash pot as well. So I guess in my mind, those are the ideas that I associate with the Fourside Regional.
Yeah, to me, we are going to break down pretty much every component of that into its own topic. The one thing I wanna throw to the other three pundits for is how they feel about that mission, if they have any edits. I want to say the Linkle NG in the chat brought up, I think this is dumb. Corporate sponsors are good, and it got me thinking, Mikey. I think about Pizza X sponsoring Full Bloom and giving us pizzas and a little bit of cash. You're going to say no to Pizza X, the local pizzeria down the street? Is that how stringent we are?
I think that there's inherent risk in it now. I think that if you are at all relying on your tournament financials being supported by corporate sponsorships that will go away if your stream disappears, it's a risk that's just not worth taking.
They're based on their in-person. They like that the people you've brought to the city might buy from them.
That's great. Wait. That's cool. If their only deliverables are like, let people in the venue know that this is a thing, then that's perfect. I think where it crosses over into
no
the stream,
public deliverables.
That's where it becomes dangerous for me.
I see. Okay.
The concept of you pronouncing that guy's tag as Linkle NG is really it's really Linko. Sticking with me.
Yeah. So for your point about, the Fourside Regional being the opposite of Smash Camp, I'm going to go the opposite direction. I went to Smash Camp. I had a blast. I think what separates the Fourside Regional is that it should be the opposite of Smash Summit. This show that we're on right now is akin to an invitational. We have 4 people on here. I was invited on here because, I've spoken well to events before and we're friends, right? Not an opportunity for Rodney to be on here, for Medic, for all those chat members. If we're going to be a regional version of this where you're expecting people to show up to, I love that idea of having every attendee of the event starting with a score, having an opportunity to get those points across then.
I agree. And I will say this. I pitched this to Mikey when we worked at BTS Smash, which apparently is the villain now. But no, I have wanted to do for a long time, and I think it actually works with it for a tournament like this that I think should be about highlighting people other than the top level competitors and highlighting the ways that all community members like can be elite at something, which is doing Smasher's Kingdom. If you guys are familiar with Duelist Kingdom from Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 1, where you have star chips and you can bet them on duels, but you can also bet them on life-threatening endangerment of children or any other recreational activity. I think that that is a fun way that we could have something going, democratize the stream, and get around the conceit that has always, I know, plagued Mikey of like, how the fuck do we make pools not boring? Well, if pools are not pools, if they're something else, but still feed into a later part of the tournament, I think that that's a really cool opportunity. So Smasher's Kingdom, that's my idea.
Jorge, you're just smiling. You're smiling so big. What are you thinking about? And your mic is muted. And nobody can hear you.
Sorry, I thought it was going through Ninja. Yeah, so I just love everything that Johnny and Zane have both said, because I do believe that the mission of any regional is to be showcasing that pocket of the community in its most representative or purest form. I think regionals that are reflective of the communities that are hosting them, or that are reflective of the location or the occasion of the event itself, are really like are why you go to those different flavors. Because you go to Super Major, you go to you look at Genesis and you see the temperature of the scene. You know, you're taking maybe an overall census of how the top level is doing. What I think is really like compelling about Melee being in a decentralized scene is that you have lots of different diverse types of ways to engage with Melee. Not even just like locations and different types of people, but like different skills, not just competition, like Kingdom, Smasher's Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
You should be able to be be engaging with the community in lots of different ways. And so, what is the region of Fourside? I don't think you really need to be having I honestly don't even think, like, if you didn't have a double elimination top 8 or anything, I wouldn't give a fuck, right? I would care
That's
that
what
you
I'm
did
saying.
something like tracking the points of the, like, who
Yeah.
are the people of Fourside? Give them the experience of what it's like to be at the
Yeah.
Fourside event. I don't care about the set count. I care about like how well the points were being tracked, how funny things were. Were there moments that felt like segments that you could participate in? Did you get the sense that you were in Fourside at the place? And that's like what your region is. It's not something physical.
I love that. I think that that's a very good way to put it, is that it should feel. But here's the problem, and I will say that there are other people on our TO crew with me and Mikey that are in the core, that the origin of this idea was sort of, what can we create a template event that is financed and structured in such a way that other people can kind of copy and paste it. And that's intention, I think, with like, make it Fourside and crazy and loony. And so my preference is that we make as many elements of the event templatable as possible, but I want to prioritize making it crazy and loony and Fourside-y. I do want us to take a step back, because we will return to this. This is not the last we'll speak on this subject, to actually go through our agenda. So the first one is the location of the regional. So this is the most literal thing. Where should this regional actually live? Are we talking losing all our money in a big convention center? Can we find a college to swindle, a community hall, something more unconventional? What trade-offs here matter? Cost, accessibility, the vibe, public transit, local scene density. Gumball, I want to kick this off with you. Paint a picture of the ideal physical home for this event.
Gotcha. All right, well, let me be a little selfish here. Let me pitch my own city of Pittsburgh. You wanted a template for an event. Hopefully this shows up with the green screen. We've already run something similar. Pittsburgh Smash Presents the Election, where we gave an opportunity for every attendee of the event to vote in that election. Everyone got a voted sticker. Everyone had a say where they could go in and put their own rule set in there. If you want an example of a region that's easy to get to for the East Coast, easy to get to for the Midwest, easy to fly into, good public transportation, good housing, not too expensive, Pittsburgh would be the best option for you.
Okay. Mikey?
I do think Johnny's spitting about Pittsburgh a little bit. I mean, obviously the Midwest, isolated from, any other inter-region connectedness is like the place to host a Melee tournament, right? Because it's like, you know, you could drive from anywhere within like 6 hours and it's going to bring all of those people out. So I think that's overpowered. Pittsburgh taps into that for sure. I think that in terms of if we really want to make this like a template event, and we want to have it like be kind of something that people can fly into from places. I think a place like Denver might be cool. I think somewhere in the middle of the country, Kansas City, even Phoenix. We don't have a major event right now. It's easy to fly into here, but obviously hard to drive. I think as far as the type of venue, it's sure as shit not going to be a convention center. I think that a huge limiting factor for Smash tournaments right now is that we take up a lot of space and we don't generate a lot of money. And so on any given weekend, a convention center, a hotel ballroom is going to be far more drawn to something that has a lot of vendors, a wedding that's going to be, splurging a lot of money for their one big event for the rest of their lives. And so I think that to me means that we need to go places that don't have other things going on at times where we can sneak in there. And that's why Smash Camp has been so successful. It's during the off season for all of the camps. And I think that's why we should be focusing on looking for public colleges that offer dorm room housing during the summers. And basically I don't know if the Fourside Fights Regional is going to be the template for this because the template kind of already exists and it's full bloom. I think that if you port full bloom to other places in the country, that is kind of going to be our formula for success in terms of finding economical venues.
We made money last year. Nobody talks about it. They're like, how did you?
Yeah.
Every event lost money. No. I do have a video to show. JD, do you have the video that I had? I saw this venue in Oakland that I want to pitch. Okay. We need to riff for a bit while he's getting that ready. But I have a venue in Oakland. Jorge, what's up?
Yeah, so I think, of course, like, Mikey is right in that I do think you have to be reactive or adaptive to like what is in front of you, what venue is available, what all other stuff is going on, because that is the way that Melee's like successful long lasting scenes and operations happen. Is like someone's brother is the front of house manager. Someone's like rich uncle like owns the construction company that the venue is attached to. Like the church likes you, the local sports bar like that is something that feels like random or happenstance variance, but is for some reason being replicated all over the place in subregions all around the country. It's because these people are tapped in. They're like connected to their local networks. They're connected to their neighbors. So I think yes, like be reactive to the venue. But also, you got to be reactive to the scenes and the infrastructure. And I'm hearing that there's something. Speaking of venue, that something might be ready, right?
All right, JD, show the video. Oh no!
Oh my god! Imagine
We
this.
we can all do this.
Yeah. Turn your head.
I got it. Now it's upside down.
This is a warehouse in the back of a weed store in Oakland. And I went in there and I thought, you know what? They probably don't usually get a bunch of crazy people coming through trying to look. There's all this space for storage.
Yep.
There's like a stage. Yep. There's a bunch of seats and shit and a thing. I was like, this is goddamn perfect. And it's in a really nice place in Oakland. It's in Temescal. It's like by a bunch of restaurants. The biggest problems are twofold. Number
what
one,
side of the lake is it?
Housing. It's north.
Okay. Yeah.
It's Temescal.
Yeah, I didn't know if you meant like. Yeah.
So it's biggest problems are housing generally would be tough, and B, I'm honestly out of the loop on the local scene. I know that the Midwest will show up for like a 200 target attendee regional, like or 250 or whatever. I don't know that NorCal has that juice for like a new event that just crops up in the middle of Oakland. And that's more about me not just being on the loop.
And this is the second part to my answer is not just like actually what I think is more important than being reactive to the venue is actually that's a proxy for or like you get there by being reactive to what the scenes and infrastructure there are. Like the scenes that are there have been running events for 25 fucking years for like not no reason. I think Johnny is right in saying that like the people are there, the community is cohesive, and then they do wacky stuff. So like that's like something unique to Pittsburgh in that there's infrastructure there for stuff that does not exist other places because it's fucked up. Right?
Are they the only ones that deserve fucked up and wacky events?
No, that's right. That's a great point. But like I think it is important that you are tapped into the people that you will be serving. Otherwise, you end up just like white labeling tournaments just in different local scenes where it's the same. Fast falls. It is just the same top players and then just like minimal attendance from the.
Here's a question. I bet I could get the venue, the weed venue. There's a side door to it. Do you think we could get it so that they let people under 21 in as long as they can't go into the store?
No.
It depends on.
Oh, my camera died.
I do not think you would be able to do that.
Yeah, how do you know?
The feds got him for suggesting that.
Can we get kids in the weed store if we ask nice?
The
even then, like, what even is the population
of
melee that's under 21 at
their
this
ability
point? Like,
to keep selling.
Like, isn't NorCal's main local the Guild House? Like, that region must already be pretty used to 21 plus events.
Hey, that's a good point.
But do we want a regional to be 21 plus? I would argue definitively no. I think that there's a difference between a local that you are looking for what's best to serve your purposes on a week-to-week basis, and a regional where you want to open it to as many people as possible, especially with what you're arguing here for a template event and for something that is about like a democratic representation of the community. Look, we've all said we want it to have a connection that can get the price down. You want it to not be a convention center. You want it to be in a scene with robust connections. May I propose the basement of Jake Cromer Robbins' house in New Jersey? He has a lot of space. He can get us in for, I would hope, pretty cheap. I think that that's the way to go. But unironically speaking, I think that avoiding convention centers is a big play. And I think when you're talking about juggling the pros and cons of like an established city versus a city that doesn't have anything going, I actually don't think that a city with a really high profile for tourism is that valuable because it's always going to increase price, and you want the regional to be the reason that people show up, right? We can convince people to come if the regional is strong. What's more important is that the local scene is really strong, because I think that if we're trying to do something that is going to be sustainable, then you want something that can be fueled by the scene and that can get you those budget cuts where
dude, the Pittsburgh people in the chat are going crazy. We'll do it for you. You gotta.
Yeah, I mean, I think I on a regular Fourside episode, I would come up with some reason to argue with Johnny, but like,
no, exactly. That's why.
Pull back the curtain. Like Pittsburgh, aside from Phoenix, is the city that I've done the most venue searching for this in. Like. Let's recruit
all Pittsburgh, and we'll say that's our kind of our standing assumption, unless we get a really juicy deal elsewhere. And you know what? Pittsburgh, one of the only cities in this country, because of Pennsylvania's tax code, that has split rate taxation. It is a Georgia success story because of their high land value tax for years in the city's center. It's one of the reasons why Pittsburgh is so well laid out and dense, despite being a mid-sized city. Is because they adhere to my personal political philosophy.
I'll also just say really quick, though,
to
contradict what I did say. Maybe we take one of the most attractive tourist venues in the entire country with a thematic fit. Four Corners, baby. Right there. Right in the middle. Four corners.
That's different also because it's not like a tourist destination city.
I don't know what you're talking about, Eric.
It's one like of the
most exciting places I've ever been to.
It's a site.
What's the nearest city to fly into for that? Phoenix?
I think
probably Phoenix.
Hills.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I think Albuquerque is technically closer, but you're probably not flying into
from the Bugs Bunny.
So I think Pittsburgh is a great location to beat. I will have to put on there just from a structural on paper answer. It's not where my heart goes, but right now the board is not bad for Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking
As
about
far as like local scenes goes, incredibly long standing, lots of players, incredibly well connected via the Hartsfield Jackson Airport, the Delta hub. Like it's incredibly cheap to fly in and then like kind of get places around there. It's changing a little bit.
I think we're just
and
redundant
then
and tipped off, though, right? Like,
but also
cares?
at,
Genuinely.
at the regional level, there is basically it's tipped off, and then they've got Kame House. Like they've got locals and they've got a major, and
I'll
so
just say,
that mid level.
Atlanta's
who
huge.
cares
yeah.
about being redundant with another tournament location? Is that really
Also,
a
yeah.
reason to not have a tournament somewhere?
I mean, it
like,
depends.
I wouldn't be.
If you think that the people are gonna spend on multiple events in a year, yeah, but like it depends on our price and it depends on what we need to like finance the event. If it's a second $60 event because the venue's really pricey, then no, I would be worried about putting that in like a 3-month radius of tipped off.
Sure, but then don't put it in a 3-month radius of tipped off. I know that venues are something to deal with there. I'm just saying that like being redundant with something over location is to me so a non-entity, like a non-issue.
I guess I'll be frank, I get scared about Genesis Black's performance in like Melee and Smash as being downstream of like the brand proximity to Genesis and people being like, well, I'm just gonna go to Genesis.
Or like you're saying, Genesis Black is not performing well.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
I think it's
you can do
historically
some
underperformed.
primary research. You have a Discord channel for Fourside Fights. Put a poll in there. Try to find locations of where.
well, yeah,
you know,
that's
you're already
Nobody
the first
uses our
audience might be.
Discord. I'm dropping a link to our Discord.
You could be the change you want to see in the
Then
world.
use Twitter. Get someone.
We can use
to
more
get a-
channels
get a
than just
face
the
to
daily
Nazi
website.
You know, Cocaine Wednesday.
go on X to everything up.
In fact, I think that this is a necessary like milestone that you will have to do eventually if you're not currently getting good engagement with the people that you would ultimately serve for a like a fun like Meow Meow Bean social credit tournament. You probably need to establish that connection, like to see who is actually coming to the event. You know,
That's why I have Gumball 4. He's like hypnotizing us. All right, let's move on to our next topic because I did want to take this detour and make sure we get enough time. Jorge Shill moment. Jorge, I told you I'd give you time to shill your vision for a big grassroots circuit. It's time. Pitch it to us. What's the vision and what's going on?
How long do I have?
I don't know, like 5 minutes.
Give me approximately 5 minutes. Okay, perfect.
Not yourself. I mean, try to talk to us. There's 4 of us here.
Yeah, of course. Sure. Yeah. So the impetus for the project, and I've talked to actually all of you about it, but initially Gumball. It initially came out of 2022, and I'd just done a lot of work with the Golden Guardians and been nauseated by the level of their spend and the ways that they executed projects, as well as seeing Panda and Smash World Tour, like, you know, create these really cool layers of competition and narrative continuity that go beyond just singular events. And then when they fall away or no longer become solvent or go on a kind of like a powerful trip about like owning the entire community, you know, maybe that all disappears and we can't do that again. We couldn't run a Smash World Tour right now if we tried because they just took it and left. So the good news is that that shit wasn't around for like 13 years while Melee was happening. Anyway, the reasons why Melee exists today are like people like Gumball and scenes like Pittsburgh, the surface area where in-person connections and people who know each other and are known by each other are meeting together and going on road trips and sleeping on floors and shelling out money for like a game that is financially already drained them for several years. Like that is happening already in these in these regions. And what I think is insane is that we want to be creating something on top of that, or like something new superstructure when these networks already exist. And the reason why the game exists are because for 25 years people have found rec centers and church basements and had a brother who had a mutual friend who got you perks for getting like free luggage on the airport or like on your flights. Okay, so the thing that we need
How
to
much does it cost?
How much does it cost? Shit is already fucking happening for free. People are already doing it. And guess what? People in the community have more resources also. We have aged up. There are people among us, sure, who still are unemployed and the youthful and who are doing the sleeping on the floors and breaking their backs. But a lot of us have W-2s now and could probably afford to toss $5 into a community pot if it supported quote unquote capital M Melee, capital C community grassroots organizing. I know I have a friend who knows that he can't play Melee anymore, can't make it to SmashCon, will every year register and pay venue fee because he wants to support the scene in some way and has no other way to do it. There's not an easy way to funnel effort, skill set, resources, exposure, networks into the community where it needs to go, but it's all fucking there, okay? It's already happening for $0. We can make it really juicy and like with all of the bells and whistles that the different organizers do individually. Philly, Gene Dalla and Brotherly Love Esports, they get a traveler's Airbnb, which establishes a go-to place where there's no questions asked or like no question marks. If you need a place to stay or overnight at the Philly tournament, you can pay a couple bucks and get the Airbnb tournament. It also serves as a post-bracket like gathering place afterwards, where the second part of the regional happens. Atlanta is really good at booking flights. They do have a connection with Delta. They also have set processes for how they go through and get the cheapest flights and then compare them against like other trips and are really good at juggling logistics like that. This shit is scalable. It's already happening. It's happening for free. People want to be doing it, but getting it out in the places where we know that it can be useful is just a matter of talking and working with each other. So if we do all of that stuff, we can do all of that stuff for a pilot season this year, 6 months, June to like December, I'm thinking, from New England down to Florida, $12,000 or $15,000.
So day to day, what does somebody in the chat at home need to know about what decisions they'll make as a result of this vision?
Are they competitive? Are they players?
I don't know. I mean, you could decide. We got a lot of people who go to tournaments in the chat.
Yeah, I think if you're on the East Coast, if you're nearby, there's like a lot of reasons to not travel. There's like maybe a lot of tournaments, and it's hard to tell exactly which one is worth your time or worth like booking travel or arranging carpools for. My goal is for you for that question to be easy for you.
Okay.
I would like it to be clear. I would like it to be as frictionless as possible for you to be going to these tournaments. So I just hope that you take advantage of those like opportunities, because all of the organizers that I'm talking to as well, like badly want to see you. They want to meet you if they haven't met you, and they want to see you again if they haven't seen you in a while. So like opportunities are going to be coming up this year, and the spirit is there, like the fucking feeling is there. It's different than in previous years. Now I just get on a call with someone and I start to tell them the idea and they go, yes. Like it's overdue, and I've been looking for a way to do something like this, but just like there's just nowhere to put that energy. You know, if you have that energy to know that it exists on the insides of people up and down our community and within the hearts of the people who have the power to do something about it, and help them and support them, because we're supporting each other ultimately. And in doing those things that we do all agree upon, that are common cause good from grassroots Melee, a rising tide will lift all boats. We don't have to take away from each other. Like there can just be more Melee, more activity, more travel, more connection, more like real fucking Melee players having real Melee experiences, and not like having to make a short form content about it. But we are doing that as well.
So the idea is that we have all this sort of excess desire for people to spend money and effort on Melee, share their expertise. Your goal is to build a network of people who can pool that money, pool those resources, and more efficiently support events and players as they travel and do cool things. Is that a fair summary?
Yeah, that's exactly correct. Yeah, and we're hoping to, at the end of the, you compete in the season, you qualify, and then that'll qualify you.
And it'll build into something so that everybody has an incentive to align. All right, Gumball, Cheat, Ipengu, do you have any questions for Jorge on this, or comments?
Well, one way to support it is one of the first people Jorge spoke to about this. What really sold me on it was making sure to connect these resources between TOs. If it's something like when I think about traveling to regionals like Smash Camp or the Function or Inyam or Full Bloom, I always think about, well, how am I actually going to get there? Am I going to have my housing figured out? Am I going to know where I'm going to stay? What food to eat? The idea of Jorge's idea, I don't know if you said the name yet, so I don't want to spoil it.
We can say it. It's no secret. Say it.
Yeah, the idea of Roots then is to bring these two tournament organizers together. And that's what's really sold me on it. Like to know, hey, if I'm going to go drive to New York City, well, I know who to contact to help me find housing. I don't just have to, call Fahey up. If I'm going to Virginia, I know who to reach out to. Like, oh, hey, Baby Rat, I'm coming down. Building those connections goes so far to help TOs. And it's so great to see other regions, other areas, come together for this sort of help. So +1 for me, Jorge.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you. You also being one of the first people, you also have most reason to doubt me because, right?
Well,
like
you sold me early.
I know, but also like I've just started and not, this hasn't happened.
Mikey, Zane.
Huge fast.
No real questions. Only. I mean, I guess I would ask like what tier of players do you anticipate this benefiting most, and what tier of players would you want to see there?
It's a great question. I think that it is so hard to follow regional level melee for players who are like lower top 100 and taking top 100 wins. How come no one knew who Pleba was? There's like stuff to, I had multiple different people on multiple different instances go to me, who is Pleba? And it is hard to follow, surely.
Justice
and I
for
think,
Ja Raiden.
Yeah, also, sure. And I think like a player who is strong within their region, but maybe hasn't had opportunities to really like make a splash at majors, they can perform well at regionals. But like, Tommy from New England doesn't really, I don't think he has a top 100 ballot yet, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't have a rich melee experience that's like really worth looking into this year because it turns into, a top 100 ranking,
Second question, will you bring crew battles back?
Yes, oh my god, it was the reason, it's what I want more than any of this dumb bullshit we actually are doing, but the infrastructure just isn't there yet. I just
Genuinely, I think some of my white whales for Melee are the saddest thing that happened last year in Melee, and maybe the saddest thing in terms of tournament organizing, I should say, is that the Tango doubles tournament got canceled.
Yeah.
Say what you will about about nouns or whatever, but that was a truly like unique vision that you really can only do with a big capital upfront injection. And I think a lot of those formats like doubles and especially crews, if you go to a tournament right now, the two parts of the event that are the craziest in terms of spectator interest are like top 8 if somebody exciting is on the screen, right? At that point, there's just 600 people in the room. You have no choice but to hand it to a top 8. And then crews, where people will go freaking crazy for people they actually know and respect playing on a team together against people they don't like, even though they know, or that they like but are pretending not to, I guess is now really where the scene is at. So yeah, I really hope that you can get some of those things going again, because if our priority is on what is the best in person, then we should be prioritizing crews a lot more.
It's 100% crews. It's what I really
Let's go on to our next topic. I do need to keep us moving along because there are a bunch of important things to get to. The next one is what is the much promised voting systems. One of the big ideas we've been circling is how much say should attendees actually have in the Fourside Fights regional. Are we talking about letting them vote on the bracket format, letting them vote on side events, letting them vote on rule sets, seeding philosophy, future locations? I had a top player message me saying you should let me buy my pools time so that I can do 10 a.m. instead of 12 p.m. or something. Where do we find the balance there before it just becomes a sort of groveling pig, mud pile of money and isn't fun? Like, what things should make that dividing line, if any? Mikey?
Let it all loose, baby. Leave it up to the will of the people entirely. I don't give a shit. I don't care if we're running, poke floats, if we're doing a quintuple elimination bracket, if Cody Schwab specifically plays, pays to avoid Morse code 762 in bracket, and then Morse code has to outbid that to undo it, Like, what are we so afraid of with experimenting, Everything has been so by the playbook, and I get that a lot of that now at majors has to do with Nintendo. But if we free ourselves from that constraint, I don't see why we shouldn't just let it get as quirked up as we possibly can,
So I'll give you the counter argument that I hear often, which is there's a reason we changed our rules over the years to be more standard. It's so that people can do awesome stuff in game, and we sort of have an equal playing field as the backdrop. So that the reason this Falco combo is cool is because Zane did something cool, not because Pokey Floats made
Is that the
Charmander
philosophy,
come out of
Jeff?
nowhere.
Is that how are we supposed to know unless we let the people decide?
Okay. But you're also saying let the rich people decide, to be clear.
No,
Exactly.
I think that part doesn't matter, actually. I think that we're deluding ourselves if we think that voting on rule structures is going to be any sort of sustainable fiscal plan for a tournament. I think that Summit had a pretty lightning in a bottle moment that was kind of a recursive delusion that we all fed to ourselves when it still seemed like it was possible to make a living off of doing Melee. And the incentive for voting in Summit was that every dollar you put in was $1 towards awesome content. That was also $1 towards your player getting a share of a prize pot and an experience that could further their Melee dream, quote unquote. And I think for a lot of people, the dream of like a sustainable living in Melee is rightfully dead. Like people have gotten over that idea. And so I don't think voting needs to be tied to a cash flow situation.
If I'm honest, the only reason why I think it should exist right now is anxiety of running our first event. Basically, like if we run one of these and find that we're running it like a $5,000 margin, just by the people that are coming into the door, then I don't think that.
I honestly, I hear you. I honestly think that tying voting to money will reduce enthusiasm for it overall, because if I have to pay money to vote, I genuinely probably wouldn't vote that much. I think that yeah, I just don't think that it's necessary to do it like that.
What
and
if
that's what you're gonna rely on? We've seen compendiums. When Summit happened, every fucking major under the sun tried to do a compendium, and they all raised like $1,000 max, right? And maybe $1,000.
somebody hasn't watched
is what
Melee
gets us over
Economics
the
2, by
margin.
the way?
No, I
So
haven't.
the reason those compendiums failed is they were not useful or interesting to people at the tournament, or it was like get this player to the tournament. I don't care. I think that the direction we're going in, there's two things I want to say for my thoughts on voting. I do agree there's a vulgarity here that is dangerous. Number one, I would not rely on this as like the underlying finance for the event. I would expect the voting totals to be pretty low. I just generally think voting with money is a decent way for somebody to say, I really care about this or I don't. I don't expect it to be huge amounts, but I expect that like it might be. So like in that spirit, another way to solve this could be a sort of backdoor square root voting where like if you get say registration is $30, you can at Reg buy your votes in packages. So like $10 is 10 votes, but $100 is only 15 votes or 20 or something. And so you could pay more, but you get exponentially fewer votes as you go up higher and therefore less power.
I agree with that. The only thing that I'm saying is that when you say there probably won't be that many votes, I'm like, then fuck it. Who fucking gives a shit if there's not going to be that many votes? The cool part of this
There's going to be that much revenue. I want 100 people to throw pennies at like.
Yeah, but you're like a tip jar about like.
You said there won't be that many.
I meant revenue generated. Okay. I don't think that there will be that much.
Fair. But I also don't think. But if there's not going to be that much revenue, then there won't be that many votes. That's what I'm saying. The draw of the idea.
No, penny votes. Throw pennies at Cody Schwab.
Like $1 or something. Like pancakes versus waffles tip jar at Starbucks, right?
Okay, sure. That's fine. I just think that there's the benefit of this idea is in the novelty of it and how it affects the tournament. And I think that dissociating that from if it's not appended to the actual financial structure of the tournament at all, fine, and whatever comes through is fine. But I think any disincentivization to vote, it's not just about it being vulgar by putting money into it. I just think that getting as many votes as possible is the coolest part of this idea.
Yeah.
Okay, I see you.
Yeah. I mean, there are definitely ways to
And,
middle this. We don't have to be so one side or the other.
Yeah,
Like,
sure, totally.
one of those things where maybe you have a nomination stage where people put in different ideas in there. Maybe you have then later on in the format, you have people who actually register have an option for it. Like, not to keep going back to the hammer of the experience, but like for this event, obviously Carol and Spinder were the two main candidates, but it was Gumball as the main TO saying, hey, here are the guidelines of how far you can take the rules. Carol wanted to do the Acania mod for, and I said it's going to be a logistical nightmare to put a different ISO on this. Like, your rule set has to stay within the vanilla ISO. So don't forget, Jack, this is the Fourside regional. You as the host should still have final say on determining the questions, determining the format, even if it's up to the players to actually go and spend the money, put their hard points toward it. You know what I mean?
I will say I like the idea of ceding responsibility for decisions like, should Z jumping be legal? I want to show other TO. There's a part of me that very fiercely is like frustrated that TOs are trying to get the rule set just right instead of making a mistake, taking feedback, and then reacting. Like, everybody for years, whenever I suggest that we run an experiment, see what happens, and then go from there, people, you can't do it that way. That's not how it's done. I've been telling top players they should go to their locals, get them to ban Z jump, and then spread the good news. And I'm being told that this is a ridiculous idea. So the only way for me to prove it's not a ridiculous idea is to do it, which is to say, I'm just going to ban Z jump if 100 people tell me to do it and 50 people tell me not to do it. And then we'll see if it's a disaster and you can make fun of me after. But it's really not hard to do, especially if it's like a ban, like if it's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, sticking with the Willy Wonka theme, if you want to view paradise, just look around and view it. You can be the change you want to see in the world. We have the ability. We have the technology.
And Jack, the truth value
Now we have our
of the
trailer song.
experimentation, the truth value of the experimentation goes higher when you have reliable control, right? So what Johnny is saying is right, which is just set a minimum. If you want to ban Z jump, don't also let people play wireframe. Sorry, Johnny.
Sorry,
I kind of
why
think
not?
It's Pittsburgh. It's Pittsburgh. It's Pittsburgh. But my plea to Jack is, do all that stuff and set some minimum.
I deadass think we could have some kind of spreadsheet somewhere with 1,000 suggestions, and somewhere at the bottom is something, and maybe there's a threshold of which we'll like actually consider it of number of votes. But I would love an open thing where you get to submit the wording of the rule, people vote on it, and then if it's a certain threshold of activity, that is like what we'll consider. Maybe that's the way to thread the needle.
Voted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a ballot initiative, right?
Yeah.
I will say that I think one way that you could get money involved in an actionable way is through pay-to-play brackets, where you vote for brackets and then you are incentivized to enter the bracket because of whatever fucked up rule set it is. Like, there's a whole cabal of giant melee enjoyers, and they can rally together to make the side bracket that happens the giant melee bracket, or to be fucking jungle jam, and this is inspired by what Fuel Perks just said of, personally think we should force everyone onto Z jump instead of banning it. Yo, if Cody wants to drop a rack so he can win his own Z jump only tournament, let him do that, That, I think, is one way that you could do it. But I think for the overall rule set thing, the democratically just results are what make it so interesting, right?
Right. Yeah, I think so. That does bring us very cleanly into our next topic. It's kind of related, so I'll have JD change the thing. But bracket design. What should we do? Should we just do double elimination as kind of the headline event and have that be the tent pole upon which everything is round? Should we do round robin top 8? Like, there are some problems here with, you do have to make this decision pretty near registration, so that if we decide to do double elimination bracket and people pay $10 for it, I think, like, legally, you can't just kind of pull the rug on them. I think there are some ways that we could get in trouble if we do this indelicately.
I feel like we all just agreed
Well,
that we
right
should
off the
just
bat,
let
as
this ride.
someone who's run a triple elimination tournament, don't do that one. That one was such a pain in the neck
problem?
to try to get Smash
What's
EG
the
to do.
problem?
Smash EG has like one support person working anymore, so I had to remake all of Double Losers in Excel. And like, don't get me wrong, that was a fun Excel journey, but that was a headache and a nightmare. So try to keep it within the Smash GG formats you can do.
Yeah.
I
And does
believe
anyone
in-
have
I believe
side
in-
brackets that we
I
can do on
believe in
hand?
Connor
not-
Kelly and a Chromebook.
Hmm?
Connor Kelly and a Chromebook will take us to the promised land with whatever the people decide.
You
And
think
that's
Start
that's
GG
what I
screw
believe.
their brackets? We'll do it by hand.
If we need to, fuck it.
If we have to.
like
I
it.
think you should. I think as the organizers and like having something that you can talk about at registration, I think it would be nice if you did want to do like a fucked up format that's thematic. You know, something that is like one thing that makes the Fourside event like it. You know, and that could be the identity that then other stuff is built around.
I mean,
I
I've
think you should
genuinely considered
come in with
having
that.
grand finals be the 3 players who advance the furthest in bracket against the person with the most points, right? If
Okay,
we find which is or like it's a free for all with those 4 people, so you can earn your
grand
way
finals
into
is
the
on
money,
Fourside, like at the end of the
right?
like at
And
the end
you
of
can
the
earn your
okay,
way
sick.
into grand finals either by success in bracket or by success in punditry.
Okay,
love it.
I'm gonna be the naysayer on this one. That is some GameStop. That's some GameStop tournament type rules where you put a different. My local one had a different round of bracket for every game. So like round 1 was melee, round 2 was 64. Like if someone is getting so far that they get to grand finals because of their punditry or because of their melee skill, I do think the final tournament match should be within that field as opposed to smashing them together.
Okay,
Yeah.
So you have
Obviously,
a
the
pundit
pundit will
free-for-all and a
lose.
player free-for-all.
Certainly.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
think I agree with Johnny, and I think you separate it out, right? And then that'll get to one of the later topics that we're going to talk about anyways. I
That's
mean,
cool.
I think I will say, I bet that if you polled people on what the format should be for the main bracket, and I think main bracket is like the critical thing here. I think that you can have multiple events, and that's how you make this
100%.
interesting. If you polled people on what the format should be for main bracket, everyone will vote double elimination. 100%. I think that's just
crazy.
what people will say.
That's
I
crazy.
kind of think that's maybe a good way to. We might need to start elections soon and do like gates.
They might say Swiss.
And the gate is like double elimination or something else, right? Or maybe we need to do ranked choice voting. I don't know.
Yeah, you have to provide them options. Maybe they'll say Swiss or waterfall, and that would be great. But people will say
Right.
double elimination for the final.
But
round.
something
I think that-
normalish, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to our next topic. This is the vision for the stream. Let's talk about the stream, not just how it looks, what it's for. This is usually a huge cost sink for events that doesn't really bring that much revenue back. Certainly not as much as it spends on. But does it have to be? Should it be because it's fun to put on a big show? Like, I'm very okay with a stream being a loss area because it's kind of this intangible thing that gives prestige to an event and brings people into the future.
Jack,
But yeah,
Jack,
yeah,
it's a brain blast moment. It's a brain blast moment. Smashers Kingdom is the points. Also, you are wagering
that's what I was
the
saying.
points. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, sorry for being 30 minutes late on that. But like,
sorry,
but like,
that was the idea.
But then also like that should be part of the broadcast. I think that the stream is like broadcasted out, but it should also be integrated as a viewer. Like I should be able to like there should be this the stream happening like everywhere. I should maybe
Yes.
have a screen where I can see the leaderboards of like
Yes.
who's got the
Yeah.
starships even, you know?
I said all
It
this.
should be
and
interactive.
Connor Kelly told me that it was a huge headache. I said all this 2 months ago. Yeah, JD wants to talk.
Hi. Yeah. They're right. It's an insane, unbelievable headache, but it would be the most fun thing to work on as a producer. If you
No. I don't believe
Here's-
this.
no.
I don't believe this. It can pop from fucking Google Sheet, right? Like
Google
Yeah,
Sheet. Yeah. You can literally just actually
This is
You
like,
can
we
OBS.
just
share your
make that a
screen
thing.
with a Google Sheet. I need you to stop thinking Genesis, pretty, perfect,
Yeah.
always works,
Yeah.
and start thinking, I have $20.
Well, and here's
What can I
also
do with it?
what I'll say that I know JD as a producer will agree with me on. For most Melee tournaments, a stream is like one of the last priorities, even though we think of it as the thing that is our forward facing like icon of the tournament. It comes very far at the end when you are done with all the logistics. And that makes sense because you want the tournament to run. But if you have people who are willing to do creative producing work from the beginning and start producing ideas 6 months out, this is not insane to do. It's just that we only start thinking of cool ideas a month and a half before the tournament starts. And that's like, well, fuck, how do we do this in that time?
Hey,
Well, we
Juna, I
don't.
had an idea.
Yeah, exactly. Here's my pitch is yes, tracking points 100%, going with following what players are doing for the thing. 24-hour stream with user-generated content as the primary way to fill airtime, and you don't need it to like be that high lift. You have it running the whole time. You run the Fourside Fights Film Festival. I don't know if any of you guys saw the Ludwig's streams he did with MCSR, where users were submitting the Minecraft parody songs. It was fucking great. But I've been pitching Film Festival for a while. I think that you can fill especially the first 2 days for a tournament that doesn't have competitive integrity as the primary goal and is more about making a cool regional experience. You can fill
This is likely a one-day
content.
stream or a one-day tournament, but I do like the
it's a
idea
one-day
of like
tournament?
even if it's a
But
Two.
but Zane, I would
Two?
love to yoink that and talk.
Mikey, do you have the
I would-
money for a
gonna
two-day
say-
tournament? You doubling our venue costs?
Thank you, Mikey. Two.
I think it's got
First
to
day,
be 2.
First day, super content focused, Fourside Fights. You have the Fourside bracket, like how fucking Las Culturistas did the I don't think so honey brackets. They used to do that, and you have people go up to the top and you have other side stuff, and then you have the film festival and you have all the films air just rolling, repeating, and all you need is a mod to keep the stream on overnight.
Jack, I don't know if you understand this, but you can charge people more for events that last 2 days than one.
I understand, but it doesn't. You're charging them double for an event that is now more than twice as expensive, right? So you're getting into. It makes it harder to justify the scuffedness of an experimental event when you're asking for more money and more time from people. Is my
Counter to
thesis
that,
here.
I'm not traveling to some weird fucking event if it's a day and I have to go travel and get a hotel for 1 day and not be able to spend the whole weekend there. I straight up don't care.
Yeah, I guess if you're
I would say
traveling.
for regionals, if the emphasis is regional as opposed to content, 1 day makes more sense. When we moved Fight Pit from a 2 day to a 1 day, we were able to get so many more people road tripping in because they only had to take work off 1 day or whatever, right? I do agree with Mikey's point though, in that if you want enough space and time to really give the content what it's worth and then give Melee what it's worth too, that's gonna be so hard to fit in a 1 day. Like 1 day regionals are what I love because I love that hyper stress of you just got to lock in for these exact, 12, 13, 14 hours.
I guess I'm revealing
if you
that,
want to give the space, that's going to be harder to do.
I guess I'm revealing that I kind of would prefer us to water down the content than do a 2 day. I assuming that the venue isn't really cheap. If we can find the golden venue where this is not a financially irresponsible thing to put our like personal assets on the line for, then I'm game for it, but I haven't seen that yet.
Eric, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
I have an
way
idea
before when you wanted to jump off me too.
No, it's okay. I forget even.
Yeah, I have an idea to take Zany Pengu's idea and condense it down a little bit. Was Full Bloom where you had, I think it was Chroma, be like a Judge Judy style, where people were able to go up and say their opinions and then be judged there on the spot? Like
it was web.
You could do something like that.
Yeah.
Common mistake.
Oh, wait, did I get it wrong? Here,
it was webs.
I'm
not making fun because it's such a crazy thing to do. It's just like we're so old. I'm so old that this is webs is like fading, like freaking Back to the Future.
Well. Anyway, if Fourside as it is right now, like the general format is you are judged by the host, by Jack or Chroma or whoever else it is that day. Like you could put them up on a stand and have each attendee come in with their hot take. If you want it to be like, marketing ramp up ahead of time, you could do the film festival idea in that if you want the ability to go up there, you have to pitch a a short video for it ahead of time. And then, maybe, hey, to market it, you have to post this video to Blue Sky or Discord or wherever else in order to get the word out there ahead of time. Like, you can combine these ideas and try to form them down into smaller, more condensed, more easily done ideas.
My apprehension is two parts. Number one, more complexity adds more difficulty. And two, it means more work in my head for me, which is why ultimately if like we get the budget part of it in a sane, safe place, I am fine with trusting and just making the team bigger. I have never had a problem with adding more people to a team producing an event and being like, yeah, I think that that's a great idea. You should do it instead of me. I think that's fine. But I think we've talked about that, like having the whole day an episode of Fourside essentially going, and like that was the original vision for this show, was that we were going to hold a net play tournament, do hot takes during the tournament as we're commentating, and then the 3 loser pundits would fight the winner of the tournament. That's like the first draft of Fourside we invented, but then we realized that running a tournament every single episode was a pretty difficult endeavor, not to mention the 4 guests. So I would be happy with like sort of going back to our roots and doing it that way. Let's go on to our next topic. Fourside Fights integration. We're already kind of there. What makes us a Fourside Fights regional and not just another tournament with our logo on it? Any other thoughts that y'all have on like what would separate a Fourside regional from a regional? It seems like we've landed on the points.
The more I'm thinking about it, like the more it has to be like content centric, I feel like. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's going to be the Fourside Fights regional, then we got to do the show. We got to have some kind of like points integration thing. Like it's gotta be punditry, And the more I'm thinking about it, the more like the 1-day tournament is actually maybe like a different idea,
Yeah.
Where like we're trying to perfect the bracket format or rule set, but
Jorge?
maybe.
Yeah, I think something that is like kind of an intangible and probably easy to forget, but what I think would be impactful for the event is how engaged like your player base is with you. I think that an event like this is kind of a conversation, and it's an experience that are put on for people who are playing in it. So while we're thinking in terms of scale, like it is a regional, I think it will end up being more meaningful, more impactful, more like meeting of like what you imagine the mission to be. If you can even imagine the specific people that you're doing this for, or like if there are 30 close friends or something, that's probably it'll probably be similar in vibe to them accomplishing some big trip together, more so than it is like getting 70 melee players loosely connected by geography together to then do fun stuff.
Yeah, I'm doing this for Just Danger.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Yeah, do it for Jess.
Unironically,
Carol.
unironically, what I was gonna say is the way that you make sure this works with what Eric just said in terms of involving players is you make sure that like Just Danger and Kevin Tenacity and Carol and these people who can leverage scenes are there. You guys have seen what the Chicago scene has been doing with Out of the Blue, right? Like that tournament is going to be, I think, a bigger success than usual for a regional, just because they've been drumming up so much fervor about it by talking to their friends about it and being like, hey, come to this over and over and over and over again, and turning it into a meme how much they drum up support for it. And so if you can leverage the fucking Twitch chatters who are there right now, that's how you ensure that there will be people who come from out of region too, because they want to come
It's
and they
funny.
want to support and they want to be at the thing.
Yeah, there's no Full Bloom this year, and that's like exactly what we used to do. I guess even up till last year at Full Bloom, I feel a great sense of kinship and like okay, it's okay that we can come back this year because Out of the Blue is stepping up.
Just
think you're banned in the chat for trying to shill. Well, that's what you get, like laying it on a little too thick. Let's go to our final topic. We are over time. I want to be respectful of our time, and of course, I will put y'all in a chat, and you can keep spitting ideas. Everybody can join the Fourside Fights Discord if you want to keep, in the loop with our ideas and keep us on track. Final topic. What should we name the tournament?
Fourside Live?
Fourside Live. Okay.
Like you go?
I've had an idea for a
I-
while. What's
I
yours?
think Fourside Live is fucking killer. I don't know if I have something better than that.
It's just, the one, like, it's the bait. It accomplishes what you need it to do. So, it's got to, whatever name you have has to be better than checking the box.
My favorite is Fourside Fights All Hands Call.
No, Sam, loud Dan.
It's too many syllables.
You're making people.
No,
you're making
Jack.
people do stand up
Jack,
again, Jack. Sam will be so mad at you.
That name was from when we were going to do it at a water park because it was also nautical. So if we ever circle back around to doing
All
it at a
Hands
water
Call
park,
is not nautical. It's a common
all
like
hands
corporate
on
business
deck, Jack.
thing.
all hands
That's not
on
how
deck.
people know it today, though. They know it because
Clearly,
they get in a
the
Teams
messaging
call.
Yes,
and
it
somebody
really
is.
says,
strong on this one. All killer, no
You're-
killer.
What
I
about
think
just all
Fourside Live
hands?
is fucking
Melted
amazing.
your brain,
I don't
Jack.
think you can really beat
Project management has melted your brain.
No, the product must be managed.
that.
Napoleon
I saw
said so.
Fight at Fourside in the chat. I think that we're gonna anti-social network that one, and the Fight at Fourside would.
The problem
make
with
that
the
one
the
work
problem
really
that makes it hard to beat Fourside Live is putting live in all caps is fucking fire, and you can just like
great.
make live very spectacular in your like
and it's 4
graphic
letters, and you can have
design.
all of the you can have all of the elements have an
Yup.
L, and I, a V, and an E in the corners. Like, I mean, come on.
I know. I
And for the
understand
logo,
the
you
vision.
can
I
do
just
like
had to fight
Unplugged
for
in New York.
I have to fight for an alternative so that there is tension and steel, sharpened steel, as the great coach
Here's an
David
idea.
once said.
What if it's Fourside builds, and instead of all this melee shit, it's actually Fortnite?
Very good.
Forget
I like
everything.
your side fights from PGH in the chat.
yeah.
PJH,
Fourside
excuse
Fights
me,
is okay.
PGH.
Fourside flukes.
Fourside flukes.
Yeah. I feel like
The
Fourside
whale.
Live is definitely the best one that I've heard so far. I'm trying to think the branding
Okay.
around it. You might be able to get smash.gg/FSL. If not, for sure, Fourside Live. So nobody go steal that short slug. For
SL
branding,
sounds
I like.
SNL.
Yeah.
Maybe go swipe it and
Fourside
sell it to you.
Nights Live. Huh? Huh?
Musical guest.
Very good.
Oh yeah, get Dizkid Boogie also. That's a good thing. You
Oh,
should do.
okay, yeah. With our unlimited money glitch, we're getting Dizkid Boogie.
Must cash
Okay.
musical guest.
I guess it's Fourside Live unless somebody comes up with a better thing in chat in 10 seconds. 10,
Okay, cool.
9,
I'm glad there was good
8,
reception because I looked
7,
away, kind of
6,
embarrassed.
5,
just to
4,
sorry to
3,
put the.
2,
Sorry to just have.
1. Oh, Bonfire has
What was
suggested
my
percent income based registration fees. So you input your income and we verify it with a W-2 or something like that. You have to get your tax return from the previous year, and then the registration is based on your income. Seems fair.
What about these Smash Ball
What
who don't ever
percent?
fill out their taxes or say that they don't make any?
Banned.
Like, really not going to charge the top players anything?
It's
Banned.
a sting.
If
and
you
we're
don't, if
uncovering
you didn't
fraud.
pay your taxes, I don't want you at my event.
But what if
JD?
you didn't do
Jack,
it in like a cool
speaking
way?
of, what's up with the points on this app? What are we doing here?
Well, it's not really that important. But here's the thing: I've tricked you all. I've tricked you all. I have been counting the points the whole time. You have been on a normal episode of Fourside, and now we enter our tiebreaker. JD, we're in the tiebreaker. Okay? Here's how the tiebreaker works on Fourside Fights. Zane is in the lead. Everybody else is close enough behind that if he cooks it, you guys can catch up. But there is a tiebreaker on this episode. The question is, it's a very traditional Fourside question. Who is going to win Genesis and why? And we're gonna start with Jorge as our last placer.
Rap
Tied with
Monster.
Mikey.
Rap Monster. Yeah, Rap Monster just Momentum is crazy right now. Cavalier Clash was an insane grand finals, and just what I'm hearing from the kid. What's crazy is that this is a meme answer, and it's also non-zero chance of happening. That Rat Monster could literally win.
You didn't have any punch, no zest there, Mikey.
Yeah.
I think it's a Cody Schwab situation, and I think
A
he's going to come
CSS?
back and a bit of a character select screen. I think Cody Schwab, has maybe had a bit of a time to reset, hang out with his dogs. He comes back. Zayn losing to Luigi is, it's taken him down a peg in my book. I don't know if I'll ever look at him the same. So maybe that's improving by comparison Cody Schwab's, melee prestige in my mind. Because I never seen him lose to a Luigi. Plenty of other characters. The robot, the ape, what have you. Just not
Rat
that
Monster's
guy.
different.
Fuck.
He's different.
That's why I have so little respect for Hugo Gonzalez.
Johnny?
Okay, so Rat Monster's not going to happen because he's got aura in his path. I've seen Lod double 4 stock a bait. Not happening. Schwab isn't going to happen because the real winner is going to take him out in winners round 2 of top 64. Picking Cody Schwab. I bet you thought Ohio State was going to win the college football national championship too, didn't you? Well, guess what, baby? Sometimes the bad players, not known for being the best, end up pulling it out. Ginger in round 2 pools has Daki. That's a win. Round 1 of top 64, Magi. That's a win. Round 2, he's got Cody Schwab. Your perceived winner. Well, guess what? Schwab's distracted with all the Z-jump stuff. He has Swift the round before, and he's supposed to have Axe the round next. He's practicing for Pikachu, not for Falco. Ginger beats Cody Schwab. Next round, Axe. Ginger and Axe are 7-7 lifetime. Ginger's only gotten better. That's a win for Ginger. That is winner's top 8.
Holy
winner's
shit.
side Ginger. In top 8, he's going to have to play Hungrybox, except Hungrybox is going to lose to Moki. And then Schwab's going to win anyway. In winners finals, Zayn's not going to be there because he's going to lose to whoever else. He's too focused on Rat Monster. He doesn't know what's going on. Ginger is going to be the one who ends up winning this tournament. Just like the Indiana Hoosiers, nobody thought they were going to do it, and they ended up winning the college football national championship, baby.
Holy shit, I have so much to learn.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And who's going to be coaching Ginger?
The Midwest. Midwest, baby. They're going to have Ginger's back the whole time.
Urban Meyer. It's going to be Urban Meyer again.
Right.
The Big Ten collectively.
Zayn.
I'm originally from California, but for the past 2 years, the West Coast has been responsible for the poisoning of one of our greatest minds in Melee. He has been addled by weed and sunshine and lost the cold precision that made him a champion in the first place. J-Mook is back in my current fucking hometown, New York. He's coming with violence in his heart, no love left for anyone. Zayn in his winners semis bracket path. He's the only one of 2 people with a winning record on Zayn from last year. And he has Josh Man before that, who is fucking retired. And if you guys think that Josh is going to go on some miracle run just because it's his last year, I point you to every set he's played with Hungrybox ever to show you that hoping for him is the wrong move. Josh is going to lose to J-Mook. J-Mook is going to beat Zayn, and J-Mook is going to win Genesis because it's his first year back in New York for real.
All right, this is great. What a great bunch of things. How do I do a poll? Poll in the chat. It's going to be a chat episode. Who won? Responses, options. It's not Mikey. It's not Jorge. It's Gumball versus Zayn. And we're going to set this for a 1-minute poll. See what happens.
You literally won the last set, Jess.
You say, literally, Ginger beat J-Mook the last time that they played. Are we going to forget that? Are we going to forget that?
Oh, of course not.
Josh also beat
J-Mook,
I think, the last time, too.
What did you say?
Delightful night.
I think Josh Man won the last time he fought J-Mook, too.
No,
J-Mook
won for the first time in like 3 sets.
Yeah.
So Jess is in here saying that Josh losing is fucking crazy. How about the 9 before that? Go actually look at the Wikipedia page. It was like 4 before that. It's not as stacked as you think.
The poll only has seconds left. If you're here, I see that there are 62 of you and 11 votes. This is why America's fuck you losers.
Am I
God
gonna I'd love to talk to Mikey and Jack about the crowdfund project.
Oh, yeah.
All right, the chat has voted for Gumball, but the true heart of the pundits was Zane, who battled with every one of these idiots for every second that poll was up, and so I'm giving the win to Zany Pengu. Fuck the people. Bye.
Fourside Live
Let's go to our-
preview,
wait, we have to do
baby.
doubles. Okay, we'll figure that out in a second.
I
We'll
don't
be
have a
back.
controller.
All right.
Zane, you also have to commentate. Oh, and he's shooting.
I know. This is crazy that I fucking fought tooth and nail against you people, and I still have to.
You didn't fight tooth and nail. You didn't even think the episode was real until the end. I tricked you.
I fought to make it real the whole time.
That's fair.
While everyone else was playing nice.
I die for that?
Oh, I died too. That was
Right. We gotta lock in. I forgot. We got some real
Fourside.
gamers.
It's the winner and the host. Juno, I don't know why you're trying to give me votes. I already won. I don't need your pity sub to the defunct
What the
Smash
fuck? They're
organization.
comboing me.
You know, why not give LD some money? You know?
Is that who it goes to?
Yeah.
What happens when the subs happen, Mikey?
LD collects like 250. And that's
Okay,
it.
wait. Actually, you should sub. Subbing is good.
Yeah, I get paid per viewer minute, so none of the sub money goes to me. But you watching does. Like, fractions of pennies right now are what I'm collecting.
Oh!
Oh my god!
I meant to do that.
God damn it, Jack.
What?
If you had followed up on my up smash, it would have been cool.
I tried to.
I was
know,
sliding in with my own.
I know.
God damn it.
I don't think I've ever
You
watched
might-
ICG.
Melee before.
Oh, good. By you.
Also, I just want to say, Eric said that the finals of whatever fucking tournament it was were
Roots.
very exciting. We didn't even talk about
Half
the
class.
losers semis, which was a great set.
Okay, and we see that
Featuring
tag.
your very own smiling.
Which
like a
also,
maniac. Oh, I'm super.
also,
dead.
while I did win, I was like immediately, oh shit. I had commentary. So, and after seeing the set end like that, I did DQ.
Junebug situation, huh?
Yeah, I know. I got my Junebug. But so I DQ'd to do commentary, but then Eve was happy that I had made top 4 because then she could do some of my sets. So she did some of them too, and I just got to have some dumplings.
This is so crazy that I don't get to gloat because I'm focusing on not being terrible at melee.
Oh.
Yes, thank
You
you.
could just be terrible at melee.
Oh no. Okay. Oh wait.
Oh,
It's
Jack
actually
is
really
carrying me.
Wow.
Let's go. Jack is a team's god, real one.
Oh, hold.
It's the only tournament I've ever won is teams.
I'm out of here. Oh god. All right, Jack, you got it.
Go, my champion.
All right, Jack in a dangerous 1v2. He has to get back to the UFO. It's a chance. Yes. Perfect.
Oh,
Time him
what?
out. Jorge, what are
They're
we
too
doing?
scared.
Time him
Oh,
out.
Time him out.
Timing him out, and this is who
Psych.
you want.
I thought you were serious.
That was sick.
GG's.
That was actually nasty.
I used it. I'm sorry, Johnny, I used the time him out as strategically.
Oh yeah.
I didn't tech it because I was like, well, I'm gonna be waiting anyways. Why press the buttons?
Obviously.
All right. That's my John. That has been our episode of Fourside.
Wait, does
Congratulations.
that mean Johnny and I win?
No, you win nothing. Zane is the winner. He's the pundit champion. You are the winner of the fight on Fourside, which is not really important to anybody unless you decide it's important to you. And that's really the moral of the story here, is that you have to decide what's important in your life and act on those principles. We will see you next
Just like it'll
time,
be at the
or
regionals.
next time we feel like talking. Bye.